You've decided to purchase a home, and you've saved up a down payment and closing costs. But wouldn't it be better just to ask the seller to pay for those closing costs so you can keep some of that cash in your pocket? That's what we're talking about today, so let's go. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bryn Cook, and I'm a real estate agent here in Eugene, Oregon. Today we're going to discuss a couple of disadvantages of the sellers paying for your closing costs when purchasing a new home. But before we do that, let's break down what the closing costs are and how much you can expect to pay when purchasing a home with a mortgage loan. Costs can vary depending on the lender and the loan program that you decide to use. The typical costs include an origination or broker fee to the mortgage company, any mortgage points or discount fees used to buy down the interest rate, title and escrow fees, the cost of the home appraisal required by the lender, and prepaid taxes and insurance for the home. The total for these fees can be anywhere from 2 to 5% of the loan amount. So how does it work when you ask the seller to pay for those closing costs on your behalf? Do they actually pay those fees out of pocket? No, the seller isn't actually paying anything out of pocket. Seller contributions towards closing costs in reality is a way for the buyer to work in the fees into the mortgage loan. Here's an example. If the home is listed for $250,000 and the buyer wants to offer full price and asks for the seller to contribute $5,000 towards closing costs, then the buyer would offer $255,000, therefore netting the seller the full asking price of $250,000. The loan amount would then be based on the $255,000 purchase price. Depending on the situation, this can be a win-win for both sides of the transaction. But in a competitive market, there are significant drawbacks. If inventory is low, you may need to offer over the asking price of the home to get your offer accepted. Adding the request for closing costs on top of that can present challenges. Let's go back to the $250,000 list price scenario, but now there are multiple offers on the table and you need to compete. Let's say you're pre-approved with your lender for up to $275,000 in a purchase price, and you really love this house. You decide to go big and offer the full $275,000 that you're approved for, and you request that the seller pay $5,000 towards your closing costs, netting the seller $270,000. That's $20,000 over asking. You're a shoo-in, right? Not necessarily. Not only are you having to finance much more, raising your monthly payment, the overall interest paid, and the total cash out of your pocket in the end, but the seller is taking a huge risk as well. If the property doesn't appraise for the full $275,000 purchase price, then the mortgage company won't finance the full amount. Either the seller would need to reduce the purchase price to match the appraised value, or you, as the buyer, would need to cover the difference and come in with the additional cash. Now, this example is an extreme scenario, but that additional bump to the price that you're offering when requesting the seller to contribute towards your closing costs in a competitive market can make a big difference in whether they accept your offer. It's a good idea to weigh the pros and the cons with your agent before submitting the request to the seller. I hope you found this information helpful and have a better understanding of some of the disadvantages of asking for the seller to pay the closing costs. Don't forget to watch the other videos in my series about the home buying process in general. Feel free to contact me or post any questions in the comments down below. I work hard to stay connected. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel and join me for my next video. Thanks so much for watching.